Hello everyone, I'm Adam Papagan and welcome to another episode of There's a Place, the ASMR talk show that is sounds that feel good to hear. And I hope you're feeling well and that you're hearing, or watching, or listening on the podcast. We thank you. This week's adventure, just so much of this show is just unpacking how I choose to spend my time. But this week's adventure, I visited a dog cafe. So a dog cafe is, just to get you up to speed, in Japan, people aren't usually allowed to keep pets. They're not allowed in apartment buildings, it's very dense there, whatever, but there's a natural human instinct to like dogs and cats. So as a solution, there are these restaurants where you can go, called cat cafe or dog cafe, and they have these pets at the coffee shop, and you go and you drink your coffee and you hang out with some cats. Alright, they've tried to import that over to America, but it doesn't really work the same way because our health laws are such that you can't serve food where there are animals. But it seemed weird. It was a noble experiment, so I went and checked out the dog cafe, billed as the very first dog cafe in America. Now, I don't know where the demand for this came from, because it seems like every restaurant and cafe I go into, people bring their dogs to anyway. The world is a dog cafe. There's just dogs can go anywhere people go. I was like, all right, we'll check it out. So we walk in there, and immediately the dogs just start barking. It was a frenzy. It really was. The dogs are going nuts, and it costs $10 to get in. And it's basically just a big room with a couple tables and chairs. One, for the $10 entry fee, one complimentary coffee. Which, you know, how expensive is coffee? That's great margins on that. Let's just make it unlimited free coffee. Let people hang out. But you have to go in there and hang out with these dogs and the two women who chose to run a dog cafe as their business. Sorry, a little mess. And I feel really, these dogs that they have there are all up for adoption, and they pick dogs that are would have a difficult time getting adopted, dogs with behavior problems. Wow, that was weird. Dogs that are older. And I felt really, really sad for the dogs, because they're cooped up in that cafe with the women who chose to run a dog cafe for a living. So the dogs are barking, they're peeing everywhere, and they're not nice dogs because they're dogs that people would not want to adopt. And it was really weird. Don't know if I would recommend the cafe or owning even one of these dogs, because they were messed up dogs. But the whole point of the cafe is just a shell to put around this idea of finding permanent homes for these dogs. Across the street from the dog cafe is PATH, People Assisting the Homeless, a homeless shelter. So while these two women are charging money for bad coffee to find permanent homes for these dogs, there are people, a stone's throw away, who don't have permanent housing. So I think that before, a fun idea is a fun idea. But maybe let's have a people cafe where homeless people are allowed to live, and then, maybe if a wealthy benefactor comes in, they'll buy a house for them. I don't know. These are just thoughts. These are experiments, but enough dogs. Enough dogs. My guest tonight is an artist. I don't know if he would call himself that, but certainly from his Instagram and his zines and his worldview, he definitely has his own perspective on the brutal reality that we live in. You can check him out on 1-800-SANDALS. Instagram is one of my favorite accounts, and we'll hear more about the kinds of things he does. But guest tonight, please welcome Chase Witter. you very much. So, thank you for appearing on the show. I just saw you last night, and I'm worried I burned through a lot of good conversation topics.
I think it'd be okay to revisit them.
Oh yeah, it would be great, but I'm just saying this is like you staying at the party for an additional 40 minutes. But you could only talk to me, and there's no beer or music.
I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's cool. That's always good to see you. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you have an interesting perspective that I always liked. Let's jump right into the 1-800-SANDALS Instagram account, because it's definitely in line with this hyperlocal movement, we could call it, with Internet Discount Mall, with this program, and some of the other happenings going around town. So what is because it's not your personal Instagram account. You have two.
I do have two. Yes, it was my personal Instagram account for a long time. It's a focus on the rare parts of the mundane, I think. Everyday people going about life in a alternative manner, I think.
Unpack that a little bit. Expand on that. What do you mean by alternative manner? You mean like dyeing your hair green and piercing your nose?
Usually something a little more subtle than that.
Subtle, mundane, like you said.
Yeah. Just the craziness in everyday life, I think.
So one of the typical 1-800-SANDALS pictures would be, like you posted one today, Ross dressed for less, and the R was burned out. Which, by the way, there's nothing funnier than an electric sign with some of the letters burned out.
This is true. I think one of my strongest memories is seeing a Sears sign.
Ears. Oh, I love ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it said Ross dress faux less.
Yes, no R. The R is burnt out.
And what about that kind of attracted your eye, your perspective?
What's the probability of the R burning out amongst all those letters? The only one that still works couldn't be Ross dress faux des or os. It's the most favorable letter to burn out.
So it was just that kind of happenstance.
Yeah.
That.
I think a lot of the things I take pictures of only exist for a brief period of time, hopefully. And I like for them to just capture that little moment in which it's in like an imperfect harmony.
And that imperfection is interesting to you?
Yeah, I grew up in Orange County where the goal is to make things perfect. So when you find some oddity, it's nice to capture it and encounter all of the memories I have of growing up in Orange County.
Orange County is kind of like a holodeck of like this perfect world, but then every once in a while there'll be a glitch in something.
The glitches are very
and you'll
interesting.
catch the glitches.
The glitches are very wild.
What are
They
some?
don't happen often.
Go ahead.
I said they don't happen often.
You don't think so? I think that there might be more imperfections than there are perfections.
Oh, definitely. The whole thing is an imperfection in a way. It's great in a but not in the way that they intended for it to be great, in my point of view.
If the whole city was like that, the whole county was imperfect, would you like that better?
Than if it were perfect?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then it just becomes a crappy place.
Oh, an imperfection doesn't need to be crappy. You can have slight imperfections. It's not too big of a deal.
So, along that line of thinking, what in the real world would be a place that you think is perfectly imperfect?
I think the valley might be perfectly imperfect. I was very afraid of it for a long time. It's daunting, it's big, it's confusing, it's hard to grasp.
A lot of negative PR about the valley too.
Yeah,
People hate it for some reason.
Yeah, it's definitely greasy.
It's greasy, it's monotonous, it's flat.
Very sprawling.
Yeah, it's the
More so than Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's the kind of the definition of sprawl.
Yeah.
It's a valley floor. It's flat.
Yes. I think 98% of U.S. porn is filmed in the valley.
Who's doing those statistics?
That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Nobody. Any statistic about porn, I don't believe.
I think that's a fair assumption.
You trust these scumbags? With the same people like
artists. It's Woodland Hills. Do you know the backstory on Woodland Hills?
Tell me.
I read that today. It's essentially founded by a scam. A man by the name of Gerard. So Woodland Hills was originally called Gerard. And he started selling these plots of land before, I think 1912. That's when he founded Gerard. And he's somehow putting some sort of like debt associated with the land titles, so that as he develops these streets and was making fake storefronts, all in Moorish architecture, he would essentially write like fine print into these land titles and leases, and 5 years after you buy your house, you find out that you're paying for the extension of Ventura Boulevard. And then eventually everyone left Woodland Hills after the stock market crash.
And it became what?
It eventually became Woodland Hills.
Again. So it did become...
Well, and it was called Gerard originally. He named it after himself.
But Woodland Hills became that, just an extension of Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
Like, you are paying for that.
Essentially.
You're paying for, like, we go down to the two malls on Topanga. What do you think about the mall?
The mall.
As a phenomenon, not like the South Coast Plaza. Well, that's a very hyperlocal place.
That's a phenomenon in itself. The mall. I really like the Americana.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
So few stores.
Oh, I don't care about the stores.
Without this, it's like anything else. What makes up the whole? It's greater than the sum of its parts. Whatever that saying is.
I like there's just, it's not fun to get to. It's quite a headache getting there. Parking's not particularly easy. But people still go every day. Lots of them.
They go on the ice skate?
Is there ice skating there?
Yeah. There's a trolley that goes through it.
I have seen the trolley tracks. I've never seen the trolley move. It seems, I didn't know that it functioned. It's, it just doesn't seem like a place I would want to go, but everyone else goes so much that I go to find out why they're going.
Did you know that you can live at the Americana? There are apartments in the mall.
I thought that was just, oh, you're right. I'm thinking of the Grove, but they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can live in the Americana. It's great.
Would you live at the mall?
Oh. Yeah, I think for the right.
Yeah,
I
think
price.
I would too.
That would be, every day would be a social experiment.
There'd be this, people talk about how living in New York, there's like people around, there's this frenzy, this kineticism, like it'd be like that, but just like buying MacBooks.
Yeah, or fixing cracked screens. I like the idea of like Manhattan living in Glendale.
The guy who who built the Grove, Rick Caruso, and the Americana, has purchased pretty much the whole commercial sector of the Pacific Palisades, where I went to high school. So it was a nice little town, you know, Orange County vibes a little bit, you know, or Newport Beach kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But he's turning the town into the Grove.
Really?
He's remodeling the whole place. There's going to be like community rooms for like, you make your birthday party there. You can like have like a meeting, you know, like a Rotary Club meeting.
Have you seen what his boat looks like?
He has a boat?
It looks like it's a small town too.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It's like a little cruise ship, but not little. Full-time staff, boats off the back. You know, it's like a resort on water.
Is it just for him?
Yeah. He, when I was living in Orange County, he docked it in Newport Beach. And the residents were very upset that they were allowing this man from outside the community to dock his giant boat in their waters.
What is it with these eccentric visionaries wanting to recreate towns? I guess it's like Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I guess it's cool. I would do it if I could.
Make a town.
Yeah, make it like a fake town.
That's how Woodland Hill started. They had false storefronts. He made false storefronts to attract people to move in there, but there was really no business.
North Korea, they have the same thing.
Yeah.
It's eccentric rich guys.
Yeah.
Love making, like, they already can do anything they want in the world.
Isn't that the premise
In
behind
the real world.
Arrested Development? Don't they make a town?
They make housing development.
In the boonies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like making a town.
But that then, it is. And then that show is about Orange County, but it was filmed in Marina del Rey.
Not much stuff is filmed in Orange County.
Hey, is this too far away?
I think filming permits.
Oh, really?
I think that's the issue, yeah. The show, The OC, was filmed in Palos Verdes.
Yeah. Palos Verdes and Manhattan Beach. That's where the sound stages were.
Manhattan Beach feels like Orange County.
It's all just aggregation of white people.
Yes.
So large. Did you enjoy growing up in Orange County?
Not at the time.
But now looking back on it,
It's pretty amazing in an ideal way.
Now growing up in Orange County, did you just like get into punk? Because that's like so Orange County.
No.
Like that sun-soaked punk. You didn't just like. I assume they taught it in schools. Like they taught you like.
Jack Grisham was the superintendent of my school district.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Because you ran for governor.
He did.
Recall election.
Oh, my favorite election ever.
Wasn't that awesome?
It's I think it defines California as a state and its political culture and climate. I mean, we started Reagan's political career. What other misanthropes can we put into positions of authority?
It was such a circus. And I liked how on the ballot they had, you could vote if you wanted to do a recall or not. But then the second vote was, so let's say this goes through. What crazy person do you want to become governor?
Who would you have voted for? I think we were too young at that time.
We were too young, but I followed it very closely. I was fascinated. So there's Gary Coleman. He was an idiot. That guy didn't know anything. I'm glad he didn't become governor. It's Gallagher.
Gallagher ran?
Gallagher ran.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The singer of TSOL ran.
Jack Grisham.
Yeah. And then, but he was like pro-police and like very conservative.
Really?
Yes, that was weird. He was not like, I'm gonna be the punk governor. He was like, just like some like crappy guy from Orange County.
Was he pre-trolling? Was he trolling before trolling existed?
No, I think he's a conservative guy.
Huntington Beach.
Yeah, exactly. There was Mary Carey, the porn actress, ran.
Yes.
And I actually, when she would like go on like the game show about being governor or whatever, I'd be like, she's not as dumb as some of these other people. I'm gonna put her ahead of the TSOL guy or the little man from Different Strokes. And then I remember there was a guy who ran named Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
And he got publicity because his name was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he might as well. Just swing that one. It's already like a celebrity death match of sorts. Ariana Huffington ran.
That's right.
Larry Flint.
Yeah. Yeah, Ariana Huffington, that's how she like came into power. And now she runs the media.
She does. Fast media.
Yeah. And then, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Cruz Bustamante.
He was the lieutenant governor.
Yes, who looked like Mr. Cogsley from the Jetsons.
He did.
Yeah.
Cogswell.
I owe that one
Cogs.
to Mark and Brian. Terrible dad humor radio show.
Mark is back now.
On the Sound?
The Sound.
Yeah. I heard he lives in like Oregon and is broadcasting from there.
Really?
That's
That's
what I
fun.
heard.
Do you know that Bean from Kevin and Bean lives in Seattle?
No.
And I don't know if he does the show from there or if he flies in during the week and then flies back to Seattle.
It seems like something you would do if you were a radio host for as long as he has been.
But why can't you just like why Seattle? I must really like it.
It's into the grunge.
Coffee.
Oh,
He loves the
best.
coffee. Mm-hmm.
Is Starbucks from Seattle?
Big time.
I feel like Starbucks should have like an origin story of like an ancient religion, where like it like came out of the sun. And
A mermaid cult.
mermaid cult.
Yeah, there's a mermaid as logo.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh.
The original logo looks more like a mermaid.
I got more siren vibes than mermaid.
Siren, that's similar.
Yeah.
You're at sea, any type of woman will do.
But I think sirens can do more harm to you than mermaids can. They sing and it
You crash the ship?
something like that.
But what if you get on land?
Oh.
Could you still...
I think it's like a disabling sound, voice.
The siren song. So you don't get with the siren?
What was that?
Can you get with the siren now before
Oh.
she leaves you? Because a mermaid, she's a fish lady.
That kind of sounds like some sort of like BDSM. Being with the siren.
BDSM?
Bondage. What is it? Bondage, domination, sadomasochism.
Yeah, I shouldn't have asked. Some acronyms I just don't want to know what they...
Yeah. It's probably better not to know some.
BDSM. BBW?
Oh,
Big
I've seen that
Beautiful
one.
Woman.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. That's a good one. There should be like some sort of like conglomeration of all these internet-derived abbreviations, acronyms.
I have Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the most responsible posters. Sometimes it can be used for like personal harm. They need more moderation. One of the few times I feel for more regulation on the internet. Urban Dictionary.
Exactly. Anybody just put anything up. It's a bunch of lies. What does your media landscape look like?
My media landscape.
Yeah, what are you watching? Because there's so much media these days.
Oh.
I don't know how people keep track.
Yeah, there's a lot of content.
Hundreds of TV shows, movies that are breaking records constantly.
Yeah, I'm not very good about movies. I like instant gratification, very, very short things. Not short, hour and less. Vice did a show on Sunset Boulevard today. I think it came out today. It was all right. They went from Echo Park, I suppose Alvera Street, where Sunset Boulevard begins, and went all the way down to Pacific Palisades. They went to the beach, Sunset Point. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Sunset Boulevard's a real wild street that has seen some things. A good history.
It's a real dividing line.
Oh, yeah.
Anything north of Sunset, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Even a nice neighborhood north of Sunset is better. Sunset and Wilshire.
Yeah.
You always want to be north of Wilshire. I'm giving you the LA scoop.
You as a local native
A local native.
of
Digital.
Westwood.
Mm-hmm. You've been watching the show, I see.
I don't know how I feel about Westwood.
Oh, come on. It's the same as any other place.
Maybe.
I did, this is before I knew you, but a few years ago, I had a West LA themed birthday party. And it was just signs, just pictures of signs. Because that's all that there is. There aren't even like really that many iconic restaurants. It's just like billboards and intersections.
Yeah, I really like the Bijan billboard.
Oh, Bijan is great.
Is that Santa Monica and Sepulveda?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Bijan passed, they got the one on the other side of Santa Monica to kind of like welcome his son as like the new head of Bijan.
What's that mentality like? Yeah, I can design the clothes. Now the dad's passed. Yeah, I'll just design the clothes.
He was probably the accountant before.
The son has very shiny hair.
You know, I haven't been on the west side in a while. I should check. I'll drive past
The
the next
billboards
time.
are still up.
Oh, I'm sure.
They've like photoshopped like he's hanging out with his dead dad.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you do.
I like the idea of spending time with the recently deceased.
Or just people through time.
Yeah.
Like going to a wax museum where they'll have like Sigmund Freud shaking hands with Charles Darwin, like on display. So those two didn't know each other. But I guess if these wax figures came to life, they would want to meet.
I think that could be a movie, a spin-off of Night at the Museum, maybe, when it goes straight to VHS.
VHS thing I think that's over.
VHS.
Yeah, all the horror people
It's
ruined
gonna
it.
make a resurgence.
No, the resurgence is over.
Was there a resurgence?
Oh yeah,
You would know.
yeah, there was.
Why is it over?
Because a
When
bunch of
was it?
nerds got into it, but not in a good way of nerds getting into it. It just became too nerdy. It was too much too soon.
I've been seeing some pictures of novelty VHS rewinders.
Oh yeah, there's one I saw at a thrift store once that looked like a race car.
Oh, that's the one I saw. Someone else had posted a picture of it. I like the idea behind that. You know, there's themes of speed. What limits the speed on a VHS recorder, a rewinder?
It goes pretty fast. I don't know.
I'm sure you could go fast enough to break the tape.
Yes, it could. I have one, and it's never treated me wrong.
Reliable.
It's just such a tape. I had so many problems.
Yes.
Like they would deteriorate. You'd have to rewind it on a separate machine
Yeah.
because the heads on the VCR would get worn out.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's always funny to me. You know, I'm one to talk, but when people embrace old media, like records and stuff, like they get scratched and like they're
CDs
expensive.
get scratched too.
What?
CDs get scratched too.
Yeah, but digital music doesn't never has to be reissued.
It's true.
You have to look for it. There's a reason they invented these new technologies.
But I think they made digital media to sell in order to gain back a market share that they had lost to downloading.
No, downloading is more recent.
But
Oh, you think digital like beyond CDs?
yeah,
Yeah.
non-tangible media. I think they only made that to combat with money they were losing to piracy.
But man, the music business really fell off. Think about like these stories of like rock stars in limousines, hanging out like trashing a penthouse, all this stuff. They don't even have rock music anymore. That's how hard the music industry fell off.
Metallica did a big push to prevent that. You remember they took Napster to court.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
How did it happen?
How was Metallica the face of the music industry fighting back against piracy?
Nerds, bunch of nerds, man.
Metallica is nerds?
Oh yeah, they're nerds.
Oh, I don't know much about them.
They're metal's for nerds.
Yeah, I get that. I get that vibe. There's a lot of factual knowledge, I think, behind it. Like subtleties.
Yeah, it's very technical on the playing.
Mm-hmm. I like Yuri Malmsteen. Not his music, just like his whole persona, his vibe. He's like the Bob Ross of metal. You know?
That's interesting. I was watching Bob Ross today. Are you a big fan of that?
Of Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good. A lot of one opportunity to like buy this, crazy garment.
What do you like about his vibe?
Of whose? Ross?
Bob Ross, yeah.
Oh, Bob Ross. I thought you were talking about Ross the store. That we're returning to the original topic.
Let's go down that rabbit hole.
What are you talking about? Bob Ross.
No, I want to talk about Ross.
The store?
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you into that?
Yeah.
Beyond the letters burning out?
Yeah. It's good.
Do you like it better than Mervyn's? Or
Ooh.
do they still have Mervyn's?
No, Mervyn's.
Marshalls?
not.
Marshalls.
Oh yeah, Marshall was there. It's like there's this whole trend now with flash sales, where you go online and they're like, this item is hyper discounted. You got to get it now. That's how Ross has been for 15 years.
Yeah.
So like we have one of these like 4XL like pair of jean shorts with every NBA logo on the pants. Like, got to get it now or never get it. It's innovative.
They would always have it Ross, like, at a department store. It would cost this much. Like, what store carried these? JCPenney? Is that so much nicer?
Yeah, I guess it is all kind of like a marketing scheme.
Also at Ross, they'd have the tag with the original price and then the Ross price on it.
Oh, you gotta let the buyer know what kind of deal they're getting. It's part of the scheme. It's a master plan, I think. I'd like to know the person who invented this store. Who is Ross? Or Marshall?
Marshall. There's one on the East Coast called Shoppers World that I saw on Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss.
Did you ever see that show?
I think I have.
You should check it out if you like the mundane becoming entertaining. Because I would hate to work retail. I would never shop at one of those stores. But I'll gladly sit there for an hour and like learn about the company.
I know someone that works for Undercover Boss. The guys that is like, I think they're like doing like a special on the place, and then kind of like pop out. It's a pretty wild concept. But I think the best like show I've seen with tricks was Hell Date. Remember Hell Date?
Hidden camera show where they set people up and one was annoying.
Yeah, no, it was on BET, and both of the they were filming both of the people, or no, one person was trying to be terrible, and then the other person was just like on a date. The other person was like trying to make the time as terrible as possible, and at the end, a midget in a devil costume would jump out. And that's how they would know that they're on Hell Day.
Midgets seem like they have a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah. I think that's like a coping mechanism. I think I'd be pretty lighthearted if I was a midget.
But yeah, like they're always doing stuff like dressing up like dwarves or like the devil or like mini kiss. It seems like they're never like, you need to take short people seriously.
I think it exists. I think there are some that embrace it and have fun with it, and then I think there are those that are, probably like a very politically correct crowd around it.
You're supposed to call them little people.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Call them little people.
But you just get like some stares and like they're fine. They can just like get along.
They're still mobile. They still are people.
They can do anything. They can drive cars.
Are there any midget communities and little people communities in Los Angeles?
That is an urban legend.
Is it an urban legend?
Are you talking about one of the towns where all the houses are little for like, and there's only munchkins living there?
Yes.
That's an urban legend. There's no way that's true.
There's some small houses in Santa Barbara, in Montecito actually.
Have you seen them?
Not physically, not myself.
It's not real.
I want to believe.
Yeah, it would be cool. They should do that. But then what? So would the construction crew also be little? Like, how deep does it go?
Oh, they're not little, they're agile.
It's
like
in
in
like
small spaces.
Yeah, like crouch down and stuff. What if you like met a tall person? Also, little people can have non-little people children.
That's true.
So what? They gotta move?
I think their growth would just be stunted.
Oh, like a fish where in a tank. It doesn't get bigger than the tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that work?
I'm not sure.
That's really freaky.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Does it only happen with fish?
I don't know. What other animals live in that contained of a?
Well, breeds of dogs.
Yeah.
They're all weird shapes.
Yeah.
They're long and.
Sometimes it's unfortunate. I think. I feel bad when I hear bulldogs choking.
Maybe their noses are all.
Yeah. They're always out of breath. It's like having sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor with sleep apnea once. It was really loud.
You could hear it
Through the wall.
in an apartment or house?
Apartment.
Okay.
His girlfriend made him sleep on the couch. I wanted to tell him that he had sleep apnea, but he wasn't a very nice man, so I decided not to.
You think you didn't know?
No, I don't think he did. I'd hear him stop breathing.
Oh.
He would snore so deep that no breath.
Wow, that'd be the worst thing. He should just kill himself.
Yeah.
If you have that, you can't sleep.
Yeah, it's a harsh life.
Yeah, because you spend a third of your life asleep. At least, maybe more.
Yeah.
And so when you're awake, like, that definitely sucks. Sleep is your only escape from the horrors of real life.
Yeah.
So if you can't even enjoy sleep,
You're sleep deprived.
you have
all the
no
time.
peace.
Unless you find Zen. I think you should start getting into like self-realization fellowship.
Yeah, you're always pushing that.
Yeah.
What do you like about that?
I don't actually like it.
I went up there to the one at Highland Park on your recommendation.
Yeah? How do you like it?
I didn't.
No?
No, like there are all these parts where like you can't walk.
Do you go inside?
No, I was walking around the grounds, and there are all these signs like don't go past this point or whatever. So there's one part they were doing construction on.
Oh, they're redoing the old ashram.
Yeah.
Where the devotees live.
Yeah, and I found this out because there's no sign. So I was just walking, like trying to turn around, and these like women, and there's like the stupid like robes they wear. Come on, she's like, "Are you a worker here?" I was like, "No, I was just checking out the grounds because it says open to the public. Please come in." She's like, "This is an area for nuns."
Oh, you're approaching their living situation.
I wasn't approaching. I was just walking. I was like, "Yeah, well, it wasn't a sign up. Like, how's I supposed to know?"
They might be a little bit.
The both religion is based on peace and accepting people, and then like only snooty people do it.
Yeah. Oh.
Forget about it.
I think they have great grounds, but everything in their religion or in that center is based off like when the founder was doing this. So they'll tell you that like they won't tell you when the tree was planted, but they'll tell you what Yogananda, the founder, was doing when that tree was founded. So like his life becomes their timeline in which like everything is based from that.
That's what they do with the pharaohs. Yeah,
The
that's
what?
nonsense.
Pharaohs.
Nonsense. Chase, we're just about out of time, but what are you working on now? What do you have coming up? What are you excited about?
Ooh. I don't know. The book fair is always exciting.
The
Arts
LA Art Book Fair.
Yeah. I didn't make anything for it, but it's really overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. And, you know, you want to stop and look at things, and it's really quite anxiety-ridden, which can be pleasant sometimes. You know, you like walk out of there like, I did it. I went to the LA Arts Book Fair.
My favorite stuff there, stuff I'm always drawn to, is the stuff that isn't books.
Like what?
Well, sometimes it'll be like records or posters or stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the best part usually.
Yeah.
Some good t-shirts usually.
Oh, great t-shirts.
Good bootleg shirts. Yeah. It's a good time. Just don't drink the cold brew they give you, or else you'll be very anxious as you walk through.
Part of a even larger experiment, maybe.
Yeah. I saw Nick Cave there. No one else saw him. Maybe I didn't actually see Nick Cave.
Yeah, you probably saw a guy who really likes Nick Cave.
In his like inner Nick Cave aura was like coming out to the
Uh-huh.
outer part of his body, and that's what I saw.
And then he gets home, it's like, it worked.
I would hope for him that that's what actually happened.
The art book fair. Very fun, very fun. Did you have any, you didn't make anything, you said you're just gonna go.
I'll just go. Maybe one day. And you know, you gotta like push through people. You gotta think about like survival tactics there.
Well, hey,
Crawl under tables.
can I just drop a little idea on you, free charge? Make your own art book about all the stuff you see there.
Ooh.
Perspectives from under the tables, the like obnoxious arty people,
Yeah.
the bad displays.
Maybe draw some like emergency escape routes.
Yeah,
I think that would work.
bathroom is hard to find there,
Yeah.
so could be doing a real service. Well, Chase, thank you so much for coming and sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Follow 1-800-Sandals on Instagram. It really is a great account. And until next time, this is Adam Papagan reminding you that there's a place you can go, and it's your mind. Good night.